Welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. You're looking at my ugly mug, Ben Knight, here, along with your co-host, Mr. 40-time Dustin Lee. What's going on?
Well, the YouTubers can see our ugly muds. The podcast listeners ain't going to get to see it. So if you want to go on YouTube and see our faces, then you need to go on YouTube and watch this.
Now my co-host is actually doing some work. He thought about that. So what you're getting ready to hear is an awesome interview with Mr. Hollywood of the Man Cup. So we got Hollywood on for a 2-hour interview. We had a good time with Hollywood, lots of laughs, and man, did he shared a lot of history and his background. It was actually pretty light. Dustin will probably verify. It's pretty light on Man Cup stuff. It's more about just getting to know Hollywood.
Man, we got up in that life stuff again, man.
Yeah.
And that it's legit like that. If you listen to this show, you're gonna have if you use the stuff that you hear in this show, it's probably just life moves. It seems like this happens a lot on our show, but we're all kind of on the same page in life, I guess, is why it ends up that way. But I think it was a good one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hollywood's good people, man.
Yeah, and I did not, or I guess I don't have a lot of background with Hollywood. I mean, every time I've met him, he's happy, smiling. He's doing the live feeds at XDA and stuff. That was really cool. And I was excited when I found out he was taking over Man Cup. So anyways, we look forward to sharing this with you. And like Dustin said, for most of y'all who are probably going to listen to the recording, we actually did a video the whole time. So you get to, if that's your fancy, you can check it out on YouTube. My Ugly Mug, Dustin's, and I think Hollywood.
If you want to see a stud, just go on YouTube and watch it. Whoa. Hollywood, he a good looking old feller, but
hey, it's
hard to make.
That's a good looking old man.
I mean, a 35-year-old with high blood pressure, you just can't get much better.
Yeah. Y'all can literally make Dustin's heart explode, probably.
I'm sitting here having armpit pains during the whole show. I'm here, though.
Yeah, that's actually a poor joke on my taste. My bad.
Yeah.
I love you, buddy. I love you. We got to get you off here so you can get some rest. So, real quick, not safe for work. I felt like we kept this one pretty clean, but there might be some curses.
I threw some out there. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm just letting y'all know. Not safe for work. We're going to zoom through this because, like we said, we were honored to have Hollywood give us basically 2 hours of his time. So, our due diligence, real quick. Shout out to Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Schnitz Racing, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Knight Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wind, and of course BMF Motorsports. So shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to you, the listeners, the watchers, the viewers, whatever. Appreciate y'all
support. Up. Yep. Go on the website, click up till you get quantity of 5, and then subscribe, please.
That's right.
I ain't gonna let that go. Come on.
Nope.
If you're already subbed, go add some to the cart. Add a couple more. You can't. It ain't gonna hurt.
Had a couple people do that actually. Probably at your.
We appreciate it, bro. We appreciate it.
So without further ado,
pressure medicine got to be bought. Come on.
I know. Dustin's spending
5
money
milligram, baby.
Oh wow. So we're gonna jump right in it. This is live, it's not live, but you can see what Dustin usually only sees.
Oh yeah, they get to actually see the wheel spin. Well, this time we're gonna do the wheel spin thing.
All right,
we're gonna pick a winner here for a gift card thing.
All right. Oh, I didn't do the settings. I forgot.
You don't have to, but you can.
I
think it's customized. Yeah.
All right.
Man, your computer is slow.
Yeah, that's because it's doing all this stuff. All right, does that look right? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, here we go. This winner is gonna get what are we gonna give him? $50 gift certificate to how about Schnitz Racing? Shout out to Dave and the whole fam. All right, Schnitz Racing $50 gift certificate up for grabs. Here we go. I don't think y'all can hear it. I hear wow. I'm getting used singing Jeopardy, and I hear the ticking in my headphones. All right, who's it gonna be? Oh,
bro, almost got bro there. Is it going to be peanut butter?
Way.
Bro.
No.
Bro. Oh, man, he's won again.
Man, I don't even.
Mr. Farmer is on fire. We've done random numbers. We've done wheel spins. He's just got the luck. His old lady must be like at home, like doing the juju thing. Like, I'm going to win.
Look, I love the Farmers. I love y'all.
He's on a roll, guys.
Y'all are
You've seen it. It was random. If you don't believe it, go on YouTube and watch this. It was random as shit.
I'm just telling y'all, that's literally one of the best families at the track ever, the Farmers. But wow, if
he's
y'all
never
are listening,
going to buy parts from me. He's getting it for free.
If y'all are listening and not watching, like the astonishment in my face, I think. All like, holy shit. Wow,
man.
Congratulations, Mr. James Farmer, who has now won 1, 2, 3 giveaways.
Wow. If he's just subbing for $1, he needs to go up it. I'm just saying.
Let me hold on. I want to check. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him as I email him.
Yeah, Farmer, if you're just subbing for $1.
Oh man, we gotta get James sub up a little bit more.
Yeah, if he's just $1, you're gonna have to up the quantity on there. Come on with it.
It was actually funny when I emailed him literally 2 weeks ago. I was like, "Hey man, you won." He's like, "Man, if I could just have this luck at the racetrack, I'd be awesome." Wait till I email you tonight.
Yeah, you won again. Wow. I think you to go do a quantity of 5 or 10 the next time.
Dustin request said you sub up for $5.
Yeah, right. Or 7. Lucky 7. Obviously, you got luck, so 7 would be your number.
Wow. We promise this isn't rigged.
I mean, hell, they can watch it. Go on YouTube. You can see it.
I'm just saying, that's wild. That's wild. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who subbed up. Shout out to James Farmer, who's now won 3 contests or 3 giveaways.
He's the champion. He's the points leader right now, for sure.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so without farther ado, right? Because we're almost we're 2 hours in.
Yep. Enjoy a little talk about the Cup with Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a really good interview. You get to watch us laugh, have fun, and get some life stories in here. It was a great one. So yeah, here y'all go. Y'all don't have to look at just me and Dustin anymore. Hollywood's joining the party.
Bye now.
See y'all. Enjoy. All right. Well, we're back once again, but this time we have another special guest. I'm Ben Knight here once again with your co-host Dustin Lee, and we've got Hollywood on with us tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on here with you guys. You and Dustin, y'all some real tough races. I got to find me some sneak secrets right now so I can find my way back to that winner's circle. What y'all got for me?
Buddy, Ben's got a horseshoe or something up his butt you can dig for.
I need 2 of them, man. I can't get myself straight to nothing, man.
If he's got 2, I need 1 and you got 1. We'll be all right.
It's funny you said that because as I look right behind me, one of my dog's chew toys, is a big old horseshoe right there laying on the floor.
Does not surprise me at all.
It's literally right behind my motorcycle too. So, anyways, but no, I told Hollywood what I seen you at. I think it was the first SDBA. Didn't really get to talk to you much, but I said we gotta get you on. You said I'm game, and I was like, all right. And then I'll be honest, I dropped the ball. I got busy and stuff, but it doesn't matter because here we are and we got the man himself on. So glad to have you spending some time with us to talk about everything you got going on and whatnot. So thank you again.
Man, you're welcome, man. And like I said, man, it's always an honor to be a part of something that has to do with motorcycle drag racing. I'm a motorcycle drag race purist at heart. So anything about, making this thing go better and bringing more people to our platforms and so forth, I'm all for it, man.
For sure. Well, let's get started with it. If you don't care, I'd like to just get a little bit of history background. It doesn't have to be extensive because I know you've been doing this for a while, but just can maybe give us a little rundown of just some racing stuff and maybe lead into, the big news of last year, which was you taking over Man Cup.
Man, you're right, man. You about to tell my everything. I'm 53 years old, but I've actually been racing since I was 14 years old. So wow. I actually started racing in 1984 as
I wasn't even alive yet.
I was waiting on Dustin to say that. Well, neither was me, but
so I had my first opportunity to go down a racetrack, drying the track because then they didn't have blowers, So they would ask fans to go, the families, would you take the cart up and down the racetrack so you can dry it off, right?
That's old school right there. I like it.
That's real old school. And, you know, not to mention there was a track down at the Covington track. I'm drawing a blank, but it was the Atlanta Speed Shop down in Covington, Georgia, man. And everybody keep talking about bad tracks, but this track right here, bro, you just have to do a burnout. And then when you got up there with the stage lane, you had to go up a lip of concrete about 3 inches. So cars, I mean, it's real talk, man. You have to put 2 befores down below some of the car's wheels so they can get up on the hump. And when
my goodness,
you literally jumped off the hump. So when they talk about bad tracks, man, I don't know no bad track now. You know what I mean? You know,
hey, if you build yourself racing them old rough tracks, you can race any of them. That's the way I built myself.
You can go anywhere, man. So, you know, 84, you know, I got an opportunity to finally go down a racetrack. But, you know, I've been going around drag racing since about 1978. Got interest in drag racing from, crazy enough, from a TV show called BJ the Bear. You know, the old TV show had a tractor trailer on it, a monkey and all that stuff. And it was just a high level KW or some raised roof KW. And my dad took me to the Southern Nationals in 78. And I saw the Blue Max, Raymond Bill's funny car tractor trailer. And man, you talking about a kid in the candy store, baby. I was like, boy, I gotta have me one of those rigs right there. That might be what got me to like it blue all of a sudden. I don't know, man. But
hey, I'm a liker of blue.
Oh man, that blue was something else. It was beautiful. And when the 14 came and I got a chance to run down that racetrack for that first time, man, it was just, I knew that was the place that I really wanted to be, you know, and I spent a lot of my years, you know, chasing championships, track championships and so forth. First, you know, and even after 14, you know, I had a little time where I just did not race.
Yeah.
And came back to the game. I bought a 1991 GS 500E, was really my first race bike, Suzuki.
Okay.
Now, I'm a person who put 60,000 miles on this GS 500E now. I rode that joker. It was no such thing as...
Hey, them old 2 valves are tough, man. They'll take it.
Hey, that thing, no, it was a four-stroke, two-cylinder.
Yeah. They got 2 valves per cylinder. Yeah.
Oh, man, that thing right there, boy, I rode it like, I don't care if it was raining, whatever it had, I had to go. That was transportation 1, period. And about 60,000 miles on a motorcycle, dude. I mean, like, I rode to the track on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 different racetracks over the weekend.
That's crazy.
Racing, riding to the track, racing. And, you know, I had a lot of lessons. You know, you get your butt whooped for the first few years or so, you know, till you get it.
Yeah.
And then I finally got a hold to the bike and just really understood racing from the mathematical side. You know, and that was what a lot of people just don't understand. The science behind the racing, the math behind the racing, how numbers really play together to, you know, give you that winning packages. And I really learned that from some of the best racers, man. I mean, Mark Hancock, we had some guys like that was true champions. The Johnson brothers, you know, that was champions, and so forth. But during then, motorcycle drag racing, like you all know, it was nothing like cars. You only had a big handful of people that really raced motorcycles. You'll go to a local event and there'll be 100 cars and probably 10 motorcycles. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I, you know, eventually bought me a pickup truck, a little Ford Ranger. So I raced the Ford Ranger in street ET and raced the motorcycle in street, and we didn't have no pro or street ET and motorcycle. It was just motorcycles to lane 7, and you just ran whoever showed up in lane.
Good luck, right?
Good luck. Yeah. And, you know, just kept doing that, man, and eventually I met a guy, Walter Robinson, earlier in my career racing, and he was the first person I really can say that really groomed. I had the talent, but I really did not, you know, have a clear, you know, mentor in a sport. You know, I'm just showing up to the race, winning trophies, bracket racing. I bracket raced forever. Won track championship a couple times with bracket racing, and then he saw me. You know, we got together the first time that we raced together. I raced a big tire Suzuki George Bryce built motor, big tire bike down at Commerce. I changed classes 3 times in one day because every pass I was getting too quick for the class I was in previously. So it's like starting out with Super Comp and went to 460, but in that days it was something else, and we ended up in Top Gas.
Okay.
And that's why I first started running people like Mullins, Conopacky, and all those guys back in that day. But even then, I never rode nitrous bikes all the time. I always rode clutch bikes, button, because I was, his dream was to run pro stock. And I really didn't know what pro stock. I didn't really know much about NHRA pro stock, but he did. So we always rode clutch bikes, button bikes throughout the years, and until in about 1990, I want to say 1995, the World Finals was at Gainesville Pro Star. I had a bike that I had a chassis that I had brought from Gary Tunglet, Ellie Tunglet's dad, down in Metairie. And we built the motor, and I was running 790s on all raw motor back then. Yeah, pro stock bike with a motor that was built in our basement, right? no, real talk. And so Harry Lartey comes up to me at the gate at that race and asked me would I be interested in running pro stock. So that was in 1994, 95, maybe 95, 6. I can't remember exactly, but it was the year before Mike Phillips had gotten in. It was the same year Mike Phillips had got in trouble for street racing.
Okay.
So Harry picked me up. I ended up being that next year a sponsored rider by Bell Additives. But, we went and did a lot of testing, and, those things, the engines weren't just surviving at the point. And so we were going through an engine program change. So we just tested, we laid off a season because we really was going to try to come hard at a rookie of the year type deal.
Right.
But at the same time, it was crazy that I drove pro modified cars. At the same time, I drove pro cars, pro mod door slammers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's really where Hollywood kind of comes from, more of the street racing, the cars. I had a stick barrel. I raced a lot on the street. I was the king of the streets in Atlanta for a long time. My mechanic, Steve Kirk. Anybody look him up, Steve Kirk Jr., he's one of the dopest 10-5. He's kind of the guy who started the 10-5 deal. Matter of fact, he just won a no-time Duck X race at Valdosta this year.
Okay. Wow.
That's one of my real close buddies. And he always built really nice cars to race. And so I raced the Pro Mod cars, the automatic door slammer car for quite a while. At the same time, I was riding the motorcycles. And, long story short, went through all that, got myself in a little bind, a little trouble, because I was still trying to make money and do things that really wasn't across the board at the time. But, through all that, I was able to, become out on the other end of that deal a lot better, because now, I had to go sit down and get an education, a real formal education. I actually learned my trade during that same time, which now, if anybody know, I'm a commercial government plumbing contractor. That's what I do for a living. And when I came back to the scene, I came back and I rode. The first time I've ever rode a pro modified bike was at Steele, Alabama. Crazy. We just had an event there.
Yeah.
I like that track. It's a nice track.
It's a good racetrack. It's always been a real good 8th mile deal. It was, they tried to run quarter there for a while, but ultimately it's a very, very good 8th mile surface as well. Like one of those gyms that you just have in the back there.
Yeah. I'd never even heard about that until like you guys were going and what SDBA went to, right, Dustin?
Yeah, man, it's not changed though. When me and my dad used to go there for the bracket finals when I was a kid, to me it looks the same, like the tower and everything. It's cool.
But just the photos y'all were sharing and everything, and seeing, you guys.
Oh, the 8th mile part is money.
I told Dustin Hollywood, I was like, man, that track looks right, and he's like, dude, it is. So I was. I feel like I know at least of most tracks. I had no clue that place even existed.
Man, yeah, it's beautiful.
Steele is right, man. I mean, the thing with Steele was I actually Jason and I was actually, he's the owner. Jason Collins, Proline. I think it's ProMax Cylinders or something like that. They own a company that does machine work. He and I both were at SEMA, and he just came up to me and was like, "Hey man, give me a motorcycle event." And I was like, the truth of the matter is that we really run more quarter mile with Manufacturers Cup, but why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like to try to expand the market, because what I've learned, and I'll get back to how we got to the Man Cup deal, but what I've been learning, as I've been going, is that a lot of times we spend more time trying to figure out what tracks and locations that we want to go ourselves. But the reality of it from a business perspective is that it seems that you have to do more research on what tracks actually bring people. Period.
Yeah. It ain't so much about good racing. It's about drawing the families up in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to get those people in there, man, because, certain tracks just draw, and that's just one of those places that, all the racing seasons this year seem to me have been mildly or severely affected by weather,
Yes.
And as a now promoter, I see, man, the weather, if the weather is not saying sunny a week before, you pretty much gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, if I was you, I'd have really bad blood pressure. I already got it, so I couldn't imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the weatherman costs you money. And the fool ain't even always right. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like, how many times you been to a race? It's like 70% chance of rain and it don't rain a drop. We've all done it many times.
I promise that I do not look at the weather anymore when I'm going racing. Like, somebody literally has to tell me. Like, usually it's honestly Dustin, like, hey, weather's looking good or what. But like, unless like if I'm going to Man Cup, unless you say it's canceled, I'm going. Like, I don't care what the weather says. Like, because
as a fat man, all I care about is the temperatures. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
I just look at the temps. Like, how hot am I going to have 2 strokes this weekend or 1? That's what I look at.
I wish, like, I hate to say it, but it's always beating a dead horse, man. And it's always been like that. It doesn't matter what you do, how hard you try. Like, some people still just get scared. And this is funny because Dustin and I have said it more so recently and have tried to like tell people, like, and this may sound weird, but we're not even mad if it rains when we're at the racetrack, because we're like, get to hang out with each other. And
you just took the words out of my mouth. We have the best times on rain delays or rain outs while we're at the track.
Don't get us wrong, like Hollywood, like, we're not going to the track like we hope it rains, but when it rains, we don't get 3 shits at all, because we're actually hanging out now. Like, 10 years ago, we would probably been mad, but nowadays we're like, oh man,
we take them leathers off and go grab a chair. That's what we do.
Hey, but the bottom line is that I said this in when our last little thing. I was like, we go to the racetrack to be with our friends who happen to
exactly.
We want to compete because we're competitors. Period.
Right.
But,
if
you think about it and you sum up the amount of time that you're on racetrack, except for somebody like Dustin who drives about 5 different classes, his time might be different.
Just saying it made me tired. Damn.
But somebody like me, I'm like maybe 4 seconds, 5 seconds at the track, 5 seconds shut down in a minute. So I probably got a total, maybe 5 minutes total tied up, and maybe 20 minutes or so. If I go 8 rounds at 5, I'm 45 minutes a day.
And you're there for 4 days.
So when you look at it like that, you have to have a lot of things that you get to do. And the most important thing that I really like about our community is the family, the atmosphere of friends and family. We all travel from all these different places to come to these one locations to get to be around each other.
It's nationwide, man. Like, we got people all over the country. That's why I always preach that all these series is a national championship, because you got people from all over coming to that race. It's nationwide. It's you can't get nothing else like it anywhere else you go race. It's awesome.
True. And it don't matter where you race or what series you race. It's all the same deal. I mean, I race in everybody's series. I don't care if there's a good race. And I'm looking for the competition. I don't know what everybody. They say the best people are somewhere. I'm trying to go see what they look like. Race like, I ain't ducking and dodging. I want to see how I stack up against the best. Period.
Yeah, these days I'm my own toughest competition. I beat myself half the time. Damn red lights, man. That's my name right now.
Oh man.
But that's how it goes, man. But But, like I was saying, I know we segue, but the reality, like I say, I've been in this game for quite a while.
Right.
I was good. I was a Pro Mod champion in 2009 with Syndra. I actually set the world's record in ADRL Pro Mod. It was clipped a little bit later that day, but I did go the first 20, low 20s. Was the first pro style bike to go 730s. So I have some good accomplishments that are in out there. But like you said, with racing, it's always these records are always broken, especially with elapsed times.
Yeah.
I gave up racing again. I think it was like in 2011. I went and played Golf Channel Amateur Tour, Golf Channel Am Tour for about 3 years, 4 years there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I actually went and played Golf Channel Am Tour, won a whole bunch of tournaments as a Sneed and a Sarazen and all these different flights that I actually get. Then they flight you all the way up when you get to the national championship and get stumped by somebody who can shoot.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'm gonna start calling you Tiger. It sound like.
No, you don't call me Tiger. I mean, you might call me the man sit next to the man. Tiger, someone that not Tiger Woods, but
Hollywood already know what I want to see, and it's not a drag race. I want to see you and Boo Brown on the golf course. And have a stack of bills and some cold beers. That's
be some trash talking too, boy.
And they say, it's funny though, a lot of people, when we started like the little 460 thing, I-65 XDA deal, Boo and I kicked that grudge thing off up in Indianapolis. And, the reality of it was just that it was, I mean, this sounds crazy as all out, but that day in Indy, I was going to be done with racing, period. Like, I was like, man, this is just too flat. It's not. It was just like I felt like all I did was just go to the race, run a whole bunch of straight passes, hope that they were close enough to 40, 460, try to win, and then like for the last couple of years, that year, like I don't know, that particular year, I actually finished number 2 in every series, except for XDA. Like I finished 2 in Man Cup, 2 in I-65, and 2 in NHDRO. So I'm like a total maybe 50, 60 points over all 3 series.
Oh my goodness.
But I just felt like, I wasn't like, I mean, it's no disrespect to the competition, but I just felt flat. I felt like I was going through the motions of racing. And, I'm coming from a grudge background. That's really my thing. Grudge racing is my thing, but coming from the grudge racing where it's always some drama or somebody back. Blah, 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 and then now, 460 is really good, but it needed a little more, a little more drama, a little more intensity. And what was funny is that I went through the pits. A lot of people don't know is that before we started talking all the mess, I didn't want to, start no real mess. You know what I mean? But I kind of at least letting people know that, listen, man, we got to turn it up a little bit. So I talked to the other side, to our side, and just say, listen, I'm gonna call y'all ass out, period. You know what I mean? We're gonna do a call. Whoever the best, y'all say y'all the best, let's do it. And we did it, and Jack Capella was there, and he was all in it. He gonna ask to it too, but and we actually grew his audience with a lot of the grudge racing. The grudge 460 index racing, which was unique because you index racing and grudge really doesn't go together, but what it's all about is trying to develop characters of the people instead of worrying about the motorcycle so much.
Oh yeah.
Because you can build brands with people, not bikes, because you can easily switch another bike. You know what I mean? So, I really was trying to do that. And I realized that, Dustin and I probably had spoken on this, before too, is that when I started doing the Hollywood drag racing thing, all that was all about trying to reinforce the racers that we have an identity, but we cannot continue to allow people to use our identity to benefit themselves, our identities to benefit themselves without it benefiting what we're doing. Otherwise, you cooking all the chicken in a restaurant and, you selling it and they taking all the money and they rolling with it. But they don't restock you with no more chicken. So you always got to constantly figure out ways to bring more revenue to our industry when you're basically opening the door and let revenue walk out.
And I'm still a huge fan of your live videos.
So
I love them.
Yeah. Oh, when you started doing those, that thing was huge. Like Dustin said, I mean, you know how it is, just going back and getting to see yourself race, even if we're not watching, obviously, when we're racing all. So that's how you got into that, was just trying to shed some spotlight on the racing itself.
Right. And just bring, my idea was this, and it might sound kind of, crazy, but I was trying to run off the people who wasn't with us, period. If they wasn't, if they not in a negative way, but just if they're not going to help work and make our series, promote our sport and leave some money on the table for the promoters and on the tracks and stuff and so forth, because ultimately I understand business and you all do too. And I never had social media until 2021. I never created not one post ever until 2021. And that was shortly after I had just kind of like, figured out what was going on, and trying to convey to other racers, other series, like, look, man, let's take control of our own destinies. You know what I'm saying? Because if our product is making someone else revenue, why aren't we doing it ourselves?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, why are we just leaving the trap open, for all the revenue to go someone else, and racetracks are closing?
Yeah.
So it didn't make any sense to me, from that perspective. And I don't hate on anyone that does what they're doing. I don't care if the other tracks and people don't really get it, but once I get it, I feel like it's, like I told you, I absolutely love motorcycle drag racing.
Oh,
it's been a catalyst in my life to make me drive harder. People want to talk mess about, oh, he got it going on. No, I get up every morning, I make it go happen. I make it happen. Nobody's just bringing me nothing.
Exactly.
And so, I don't, and I was always told, do not make apologies. Don't apologize for your success.
That's right.
Because if you're doing what it takes to make it happen, then what are you apologizing for? So, in the same way I look at, and I think Dustin actually he was one of my first, he's actually one of my first people to ever give me money for a commercial.
I jumped right in that deal. I loved it, man. Like I'm a sucker for like a good live video. You got me every time. Like I loved it, and I was a supporter right off the rip, because I would go back and watch, and I just like seeing like the other racers too. Like I just now watched most of the steel race with you guys at Man Cup, just because I was interested to see how everything was going. You know what I mean? And I got to see some of my friends win. I thought that was cool, and I didn't even get to go, and I got to watch it. And I feel like that's just a great asset to have. And if we all work together, we can all keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Like together, they can't stop us, period.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's what Dustin probably told, or you probably seen, like Dustin came up with the idea partly because you're not there doing the lives now, but we got a young lady that is recording some of the sportsman stuff for us just at XDA, just so we can post it up and all, and getting her.
Yeah, because nobody was catching the sportsman, and she was already kind of starting a photo deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, and she's young and she knows racing. It was just perfect. So I was like, I'm buying a camera, and if she'll do it, great. Like it was just perfect.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just something we wanted to do to try and, like, because especially with the sportsman racers, like they don't usually get as much attention, and understandably, it's not near as cool as a pro street bike or a pro mod or something, but
it's way cooler.
That's the reason why, like for a while, I was doing the gimbal deal, and I kept looking for that recipe to allow it to go all day.
Yeah, right.
All day, and a lot of people don't realize that the effort that it really takes to do that. But, I give a big shout out, and this is a true story. At Bradenton Snowbird Nationals, Chad, Ronnie, I'm sorry, Chad Ott's crew owner came up to me, and he said, listen, I want to make sure that you put every one of these lives up. And I was like, what do you want me to do? He said, I'm going to give you something to help you out. He gave me a $5,000 check at that event.
Wow.
$5,000. And he said, listen, I want you to make sure that when I'm at home, I can see these boys race.
That's awesome, man.
And
that's worth more than the money when you go back even 10 years from now and get to watch it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just priceless.
And that's what I try to tell people. A lot of people don't really know me. They don't really know who knows me. They don't really know the relationships that I have. But, when someone can walk up to you and give you a $5,000 check, they have at least some confidence that you're not going to run down to the poker house.
Yeah.
But that was, it wasn't that I couldn't have done it myself, as well. But what it did was make me go ahead.
Motivate you.
It pushed me because I'm like, this guy sees this much in me. Ronnie, his name is Ronnie. Y'all know him. He owns the bikes that Chad rides.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, Hollywood, I just want you to do the best you can and make it happen. And I went out and man, it took me a while to find the recipe, to make the cameras where they can stay on during 150 degrees, 160 degrees, and so forth, making sure they're covered throughout the day, not in direct sun, because, the stuff is shut off. But just to find it, but a lot of people didn't realize I raced at all those events. You know what I mean?
They were still rolling while you were racing. I've seen you before with the camera, and they go, "Oh, I got to go race," and then you go up and race.
Put it in somebody's hand or whatever. I raced at the same time, so it came a time where, it really became a time where I couldn't do better. I couldn't do both very well. Like racing,
you're giving 50% of each. You couldn't give it 100 on either one of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why you start seeing me dabbling around with trying to let a rider ride my bike, which I'm not really a big on riders ride my equipment and stuff, but I knew that I had to do something to focus. I think the media was more important than the actual motorcycle. So that was a huge pill to swallow for me, being that I'm a competitor. Right. But what I saw from a bigger picture was that, how can I show all my friends, let them see themselves? Like, this ain't about me, because, what I would prefer to do is ride my motorcycle.
Right.
And I had to roll out about 700 feet of cords or 1,300 feet of cords, to just get the power up, before the race and after everyone's going home. I'm still rolling cords while most people are loaded up and hitting the road. So when you got to think about the live feed person, he has to be the first one on the block for the cheese and the last MF to leave.
That's right.
Sound like a bracket racer, man. That's me and Ben. Show up early and leave last. It's rough.
Hey, I can say this. Last year at VMP, like, that's a memory that just stands out. I think I just won top sportsman, and I'd rolled off the track, and there you were in the golf cart, and you stopped me and started talking to me. And I mean, I just, I felt like I was on ESPN just because, like, you're not used to that. Nobody's ever there to, like, catch anything. And you were just talking to me. And, like, to me, that was the coolest thing, just to know that the live feed was going and that you stop and talk. Like, it was just fulfilling, and that's, I know, what you're trying to get to with those types of things. So it was really
without a doubt, that's the best time to catch a racer too. When they're turning off the racetrack, that's when all the emotion is still peaked up. If you give them 20 minutes, it's kind of cooled off. But when they're turning off the racetrack, most of the time, if they won something, they got to be fired up a little bit.
I just remember me smiling from ear to ear, because, like, I'd never had anybody at the end of a racetrack, and, like, I was just smiling ear to ear. That's I don't even remember if I told you anything. I just smiling.
No, I remember catching your butt down there.
Yeah.
But the good thing about being a racer is that it's like, I know the recipe because I'm the guy under the helmet too, and I know what would make me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of people don't realize how much work it is to actually win a race.
It's so much work.
I mean, not the mental, the holding your levels, your adrenaline in check, not peaking, not falling, trying to hold that line of that level of competitiveness, because you can peak too early like a horse in the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, yeah.
And you have nothing later in the day. So you got to hold that balance throughout a day and know when to peak, know when to come down. But now with competition so strong, you got to turn it up, turn it back down a little bit, turn it up, turn it back down every round now.
So by then, I'm exhausted. I'm just done.
you're terribly exhausted, but knowing, and I remember you, Dustin, up at I think we were at Maryland or either Maryland. Yeah, Maryland, and you came off, and I remember like having a cooler full of Cokes and water.
You offered me a water, yep.
Like, well, you need this, don't you, Chip?
I did, man.
But I remember those moments, and and as much accomplishments that all of us have, I realized that it's those little bitty things that really matter, man. You know what I'm saying? And I really tried to work hard at giving back to the sport. What a lot of people don't really understand. You can come and film, rob the content, but I know it's way more important if I catch you at that winning circle. If I catch you, even if you lost.
Yeah,
to even talk about it right at the end. I talk to the winner and the loser at the same time, even though some losers will roll off, they're not quite as happy. But, good sportsmen, they still want their time to tell what they felt like they did not do right or wrong. And with segueing into, how the whole Man Cup deal came up was because what I realized was that I never charged any racetrack to film. Right. I never made a dime. I never monetized those videos. We just now have monetized YouTube and our social media. We just did that like yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I really wasn't interested in monetizing something that did not belong to me. You know what I mean? So it was like, why, and so my people who helped me with the media was like, man, you really should be monetizing this stuff. I was like, listen, how can I monetize a product that does not belong to us? You know what I mean? Because now you have an issue. You know what I mean? If someone wants to come back and sue you or something for using their likeness or so forth, and you haven't gotten their permission, then that might be an issue. I'm a government contractor, and I'm doing pretty good over here. I don't want one thing to bleed over here into my real life.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles on that. Yeah,
right. I was like, look, let's just give it away for free, man. I mean, it's worth it to just let the racers see themselves. It's enough, you know what I mean? And maybe we'll go after sponsors to be in the programming or whatever. But if they don't want to be it, don't worry about it. Let's just film, man. It's fun, And plus, at some point, we'll figure all this out. And so, I would just do it for free. I mean, I think, like I said, Dustin did $300 with me in a race. And I told Jason Miller, I was like, look, whatever I make, is 1/3 to the production company, 1/3 to you, 1/3 to me. So I gave him $100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was his product. So it's like, I look at it, it's your product. So if you're giving me the opportunity to show your product, then you are just as much an investor into what I'm doing as I am. So,
and to be honest, you're probably the only person doing that. Ain't nobody else paying to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they want to get paid.
Yeah.
$1,500. I want. I have people even ask me like, "Hey, I'll film for you." I'm like, what does it hit for? They be like, "Well, I need $1,500 and I need a hotel. I want per diem." And I be like, "Man, I'm good. Appreciate you, but no thanks." You know what I'm saying? Like, then I tell them why I don't want to do it. It's like, listen, I don't mind doing it if. To me, it's an equal opportunity as far as I'm concerned. So when, I guess, to segue into the conversation, how I got to the Man Cup would be,
right.
Jay Reagan seen me doing it, and I kind of, just kind of informed him of what I saw overall.
Right.
And, like how I felt like opportunities will get missed because obviously, when you've been doing something in a certain kind of way for so long, and people like my age and so forth, a little older, someone was just not into the social media thing altogether. So we really don't, I laugh at people because I see the actions of a lot of people. I say they're just into the life. And
oh my goodness, that's wrong.
They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, man, these people move. All they are concerned about are their likes. They're losing focus of their message, just chasing likes.
We go down a rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah.
They're all over the place trying to get likes.
I feel like Facebook's like a really good promoting tool, and that's what I feel like I use it for. And maybe sharing life with some of my family that's not around me, and that's pretty much it. But I don't give a shit if they like it or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little different.
You're right, though. I mean, like, people have got caught up in that. They're using it for the wrong things.
Yeah.
Right. It's a great opportunity to do marketing, like you said. And from a business standpoint, if it wasn't for trying to promote and show us racing, I probably would never do it. I wouldn't even. I just think it's a lot of information that you divulge out there. But the people around me, they're like, man, you got to stay relevant. You got to stay relevant. You got to do this to keep the wheel turning, because that's how the algorithm works. They write it, so forth. But,
yeah, I mean, to be real about it, right now, probably 70% of the motorcycle drag racers has got their phone in their hand, looking at Facebook. Probably, what I mean, like it's there. So you have to, man. Unfortunately,
if I didn't, as part of my side business is doing marketing in Hollywood, if I literally didn't do, my focus is mainly social media marketing. I would not have any of this stuff, like, because I have to be on it for my work. So I had to have it to access it. And then I just wouldn't have it, period. I'm jealous of the people that don't have Facebook accounts. Like, literally, I'm jealous.
I know it, man. And I was that guy to 2021.
No, I'm jealous, man.
And man, it was just like, my marketing company that used for my business was like, man, your name you got searched like almost 2 million times. I'm like, who, me? I was like, my plumbing? I was like, damn, where the customers at there?
yeah. If every one of them give you $1, you'd be loaded, baby.
Are you missing something?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, man, for the racing. He was like, but all of it is coming up on the cycle drag and all those places and all these other places. And I was like, damn, I mean, like, what's the point of it, though? I couldn't like wrap my head around it. And that's when I realized like the whole business side of the social media part. But last year around this time, we were at Dragway 42, and Jay came up to me, and Pinky, of course, and he was like, hey, I got something for you guys, like that. And I didn't know what he was talking about, and to be quite honest with you, I never, ever wanted to be a racing promoter. That was not anything. I'm dead ass serious. Like, that was just not anything I ever wanted to do. I just feel like it was just too time consuming. And, ultimately, I know that, dealing with racing from a passion and from a racer's perspective, that's one thing. But when you start getting the reins of an organization, and now you're dealing with all these different personalities, you're dealing with, change, you're dealing with, success. Success don't bring on friends. You know what I mean? It just never has been that way, unfortunately. People feel like it's a heck of a successful story to own the Man Cup. And I'm saying to myself, bro, look here. It's for sale.
I was going to say, that's a headache. You took on a headache.
I mean, it's not, I say this right here, and I'll be straight with you. It's like, it's a lot to do, but I think I'm a good person for the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, my reason for doing it is twofold. One was that I wanted to be able to not get sued for doing media. That was one of the most important things, that it opened opportunity for that. But it also gave me an opportunity to keep a place available for all the people that I'm already around. All my friends. We
yeah.
So why would we not keep this situation, on the board working, if it's already here, and all we gotta do is just hold on to it? But, and I was just being, tell you straight, man, it's like, there are some things that, we tried to do to try to, bring a little bit more uniformity to it, a little more safety to it, and so forth. And it just did not go well. But, I know how to pivot. That's one thing about me. I know how to pivot. I'm not so stubborn to where I'm gonna sit back and just watch myself.
Yeah, fail. Sometimes you got to pass the damn ball. You know what I mean? Like, you just got.
That's the way the game goes. You know what I mean? It's been times in my business I've had 20 employees. I go in there with 19 separation letters. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though, and a lot of people don't realize is that, in this particular instance, a race promoter, a track owner, you're going to make so many people unhappy, and you don't even know it or mean to, or aren't even trying. And all you're going to hear about is the people that you make unhappy. You won't hear about the people that are happy and thrilled. But, I think one of the things that I noticed right off the bat, and and this was good, I think, is that it's not like you just took over and like everything was the same, right? It was immediate changes. You know, you gave it a facelift. I mean, I can see you're wearing the shirt. I like that new logo. I mean, like, it was immediate changes. And to me, that signified, hey, we're doing this, but we're going to do it our way, and we're going to make some changes. And some of them are going to be good. Some of them, you know, we'll have to test the time and see. And, you know, some of them we might have to go back or change. But the main thing is that you're making changes. And, you know, I'm not going to get into it all personally, but Dustin will tell you, like, I haven't been to a Man Cup race in a couple of years. And it just, I'd gotten frustrated with some things. So to me, seeing the changes and a fresh face and everything, and now I know you can call me out, but I haven't been yet. But I wanted to go to Rockham, and it didn't work out. I had some family issues, and then I do have on the calendar, which I believe you changed it, but it is that August race. I think it's at Carolina Dragway now.
Right.
So my goal is to make it down to Carolina Dragway. But like I said, seeing changes and knowing things were at least going to be somewhat different is what makes me want to come. Because and like I said, not getting into that's another story. And it's not a story that needs to be aired, but like just the fact that I was frustrated with some past experiences. And, you know, to me now it's about a new chapter. And so I'm excited to check it out for myself. I'm a little bit mad that I haven't been able to make it yet, but you know, that's like
same. I always apologize to Hollywood about me not being there yet. It's just,
well, you're the sponsor. You don't have an excuse.
I kind of do my part. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I helped Hollywood a lot on the rules and payouts, and like, I mean, I spent hours and hours just giving, and it wasn't just me. We kind of had like a committee, and I talked to a bunch of people about what they thought, and we kind of just went with it as a group. And I think they come out great. You know, the weather just needs to be on our side, you know, more than anything.
Yeah, and then like you say, man, it's like, you know, one thing about this sport is that there's so much racing, man. I mean, God, you know, you look up and you're like, dang, it's like a race every weekend. And I've always said, you know, try to make some sense of this. Like, say, I tell people, and I even tell the tracks that we're going to, like, we're really not paying. I think racing needs to take a hard reset and a really hard look at economics. You know what I mean? Like a real hard look at economics. I mean, like personally, if I own the racetrack, I probably will open that thing twice a month. You know, just because
keep people hungry for it.
Yeah, you got to make them hungry for it. But then what you're asking someone to do to keep your business alive is eat hamburgers every weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only eat hamburgers every weekend, but hamburgers in the sun every weekend.
So since you're on hamburgers, the racetrack, and you guys was, you know, Ben was talking about, you know, people always talking about the bad things or whatever. So I'm a believer, and sometimes people just need to say, "Hey, you done a good job." And we was at Virginia a few weeks ago, and my wife, I had never eat concession stand food there ever. I always just eat whatever I brought. And she went and got me a burger and a fry. Dude, this was the best damn cheeseburger I've ever had in my life.
At Virginia, man.
Yeah, I drive by there, and homeboy's out there on a grill cooking. I stopped. I said, "Hey, man, do you cook all the burgers here?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Buddy, that's the best damn cheeseburger I ever had in my life." And you should have just seen his face. Like, he needed to hear that. You know what I mean? He was outside in the sun cooking, probably like, "I hate this shit." You know what I mean? And when I told him that, it was like his whole face lit up. I'm like, I'll probably have another one before the weekend was over. Like, I need it, but it was great. I've talked about that ever since then, and people ought to just sometimes pat somebody on the back and say, "You've done a good job." No matter what they're doing, just anything. It just makes them feel better about, fuck, the day sucked and now it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough doing any of this stuff, man. You know, all of us, you know, like you are into racing as a business, right? You know, I'm a plumbing contractor. Marketing. You know, my customers and my plumbing customers are government contracts, so they're all demanding. You know, and anyone knows, but the labor force in this time and era is not like it used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, now you're pivoting, making sure all your work still gets done. Now you have this new series to deal with. Yeah. So, you know, if it was anything, and I just would really say that, you know, I really wish that racers, just like myself, could understand that, you know, we're not here to not want you to race. You know, I'm here, you know, now when the first thing that I thought about when I took over the series is that I don't want to see nobody get really hurt bad on my watch.
Yeah.
Right.
That was like super important to me. I did not want to see some kid just get into the game, some OG in the game, and he busts his butt, we carted him off the racetrack. You know what I mean? And it was something that was preventable. And, I looked at a lot of racing. A lot of people don't really know my racing background. They probably just think I just showed up one day and now I'm racing. But like I said, I've been in this game since 1984 as a racer,
Right.
and I've been at the highest level of racing. I've been on a TV NHRA Pro Stop Bike. I've been on Diamond P Sports or whatever that stuff they used to have, ESPN and all that back in the days. Done it. So it's not like I don't know this sport, you know what I mean? But so, like you said, Ben, and there's nothing permanent in life except change.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing permanent in life except change. Every day, every time, something is going to change. People don't like change, but one thing I would want people to know about me is that I'm not here just making willy-nilly decisions. I don't, that's not my forte. I try to make decisions that I feel like will push us forward, make things better, make things more efficient, and so forth. I mean, I'm even looking at now doing 2-day events instead of those long 3-day events because I like driving home on Sundays.
Man, I'm telling you, like I've raced a lot through the years, and them races where you got Sunday to drive home, it's nice. Like the last race we was at Etheridge, like we were up till 3:00 in the morning Saturday just hanging out. And I was like, well, it don't matter. I can get up whenever tomorrow and roll home. I ain't got to get up and race tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's a lot. And plus there's less track time. There's less, it just makes it where you can have some fun. I mean, racing is fun, but in my opinion, at this point in my racing, I have, like me and Ben said, more fun just hanging out with my homies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, man, it's just priceless. Like
we're realizing what's important, and I mean, as much as we love racing and the competitive side, like Hollywood said, I mean, when you sit down at the end of the weekend and start calculating, I mean, you're literally talking about spending minutes, like we're spending minutes and thousands of dollars to have those couple minutes. So if we're not enjoying it outside of those 2, 3, whatever it ends up at,
exactly.
Like 10 minutes. I mean, even for Dustin, who's going to run 5 classes and win half, I'm like,
man,
he spends 10 minutes going down the damn racetrack. So what's he doing for the other 72 hours? Like
that's what I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I know. Like the day that I quit racing and just show up and vend, and I can't get like upset because I got my ass kicked or whatever that weekend, I'll probably be way better off. Like, I mean, you could just show up, set a table up, sell parts, help you boys out, and then you're always hanging out. Like one day that's going to happen with me. I'll be like, all right, I'm done. Like maybe the summer races, I'm just going to vend. I'm not going to race.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, it's like, but we all in the game, and like you said, what brings us together is the camaraderie, the family, and if it really wasn't for that, I don't think that people would continuously come back, to the sport so strong because, we tend to want to be around people we love and care about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this shit's in my blood deep. Like, it ain't, like, I can go to the racetrack, and if I ain't got something to race, I'm like, man, this sucks. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line with me. Like, I don't really do well watching racing, but I think at some point, I struggle with it. Like, I mean, usually I get my butt kicked, and I get to watch Ben race or something. I'm like, this freaking sucks, But now I'm trying to learn that there is an enjoyment of seeing other people maybe win a round that they've not went that far before or whatever, and you can see their excitement. And it kind of reminds me of back when I had that, because Ben can vouch, I can win a race right now for 10 grand and I'd come back and just talk to you like no big deal, because I've done it so much. Not to sound cocky or nothing, I've just done it so much that it's kind of common for it to happen. And I've lost that spark, but I really have learned to enjoy seeing people super excited about winning a round, or like their family behind them on the starting line when their win light comes on. That just gets me excited just talking about it.
And that's another reason why Dustin and I was telling Hollywood before you even jumped on, Dustin, like, this whole podcast, everything, it was kind of for us a way to also talk about the school, which, Dustin and I decided, that we wanted to get that enjoyment from helping people win. Now, obviously, there's costs involved and everything, and the school's not free, because we're spending time, and time is money.
And money to make it, operate it. Yeah.
So that being said, but I'll tell you what, on Sunday evenings now, when, Dustin and I jump on Facebook and check it, and I've been me and Dustin been tagged in a school member that won this past weekend, there ain't nothing better than that, because then we send them out on the next week this medallion, like a token for winning as a member. So that's just something, like Dustin saying that, and he's right. Like and it's not hopefully coming across wrong, but Dustin and I have won so much. I mean, like, I got trophies right now sitting just on the floor because I haven't put up shelves for them, right? So, like, we get more enjoyment out of seeing other people win that, you know, are important to us. So having a school member, you know, get a win this year or get their first big one, whatever it may be, is just so cool. So I know that's kind of one reason we want to get into that as well.
The biggest...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The biggest thing that drives me to win is just bring my daughter a trophy home. That's really it. That's all I care about. If I can bring her a trophy home, I'm good. That's all. I'm going to have to start making them, though, the way I get my butt kicked. I'm going to have to, like, go buy some and just write on them what they are. That way she don't know.
But the good part about now is that, you know, with you guys having a school, and the beauty about motorcycle drag racing, what a lot of people don't understand, is that the entry of motorcycle drag racing is a lot less than trying to get a real tough car or something, right?
100%.
I mean, you can. I mean, you know, that's what I try to tell people, like, around me, like, they ask me, like, why do you think that motorcycle drag racing can have that large volume? I was like, man, dude, you can go to the dealership and finance a ZX14 or a Busa, and you can be at the track running 6.0s tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, and be competitively winning races with that motorcycle. So that's a very low entry, you know, opportunity. And then to have someone like yourselves that are like the Richardson brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a super huge compliment. I appreciate that.
They're pretty tough, but you can have someone like you guys really giving them the real education, because like we said earlier, you know, racing is all about mathematics, man. You know, it's an excellent STEM opportunity. A lot of younger people that want to get involved with it will quickly realize that STEM is a very big part of motorcycle drag racing, or drag racing as a whole. And, you know, to be able to not only have that STEM component, but to also have something that really drives you from a competitive standpoint, adrenaline, you know, smell, all the emotions that go along with life could be pretty much handled, right? Taken in from that one source of drag racing. Now you get it all, you know, from being happy, you want to throw your damn helmet all the way across.
Yeah, that's me the past 3 or 4 races. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff you can get in one place, man. But, you know, I think that what you all are doing with the school is awesome, man. Because we cannot forget about, you know, bringing people into the sport right. You know, we don't want to consistently bring people in the sport to just be somebody's ducks, or, you know, lined up and be cherry picked or whatever. You want them to actually have a clear understanding, you know, of what it takes to win, you know, what it means to you know, your rollout or whatever, a deep stage or a shallow stage, and how it affects your ET and so forth, and how to use those tools. Because there are so many tools that are available there to the average racer. I mean, guys been racing for years don't even know this stuff. You know, I was a rider for almost 18 years before I went to Frank Harley's. You know what I mean? And learned even another level of what it meant to be a pro drag racer with Bryce and Jill. You know, they were there, Sean, Gann, and all us. We were in the same class. But, you know, just getting that much more information that you not even think that existed. You thought you had all the stuff, locked in. And now
strategy is everything. I'm have a strategy to mess the other guy up and ruin it. You know what I mean? So
I'm so glad you said all that, Hollywood, especially the mathematics. I mean, that's what me and Dustin say. I tell anybody, I'm like, they're like, oh, bracket racing. I'm like, yeah, it's like solving a mathematics / physics problem at whatever 150 200, like whatever speed you're going. That's what you're doing. You're doing math and physics and deciding closing rates and all this stuff. And it's funny, I actually I did a little live video today, which I recorded so that I could post it for the school. But I was just trying to do like some background info because like we're doing good. We got like right at 30 members, paying members for this school, right? But at the same token, like Dustin and I are talking to even some of the members, it's like I feel like we should have more. But it's like the best way to convey that and get people interested. So I just kind of did a little bit of live story, and like I said, I recorded, but today I was just telling people my background, and it's similar to like what you were saying, Hollywood, and that, I was around drag racing my whole life, grew up. But when I would say I was like in my early 20s, I knew drag racing, but like I only really knew one way. It was like put a dial in on it and, try and figure out how to be as close to that dial in and country as possible. Oh my goodness, that's not even scratching the surface. Like, it actually, you since you're
that's a good fallback plan.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But it wasn't until, and this is crazy because, like I said, I grew up around it my whole life, but I never had anybody that was really either knew enough or that was willing to share enough, right? So, and I know you'll probably know, but I basically found Luke Bogacki's program, and at the time he had a bunch of written tutorials, and it was like one-time fee. It was like $120, and you got all of them. So when it wasn't until I bought his program and really went through these 70 lessons, read them, and then I reread them, and then I read them a third time, and then I started practicing them, did I ever like really become good? And it's from that, which is funny. I didn't know he had ever done anything different until about 3 years ago. And I realized, well, Luke had morphed into these written tutorials from years ago. He's got a full-blown school, and I literally set ours up in a similar fashion and even pay him to use some of his tutorials. But people don't realize how much more there is to bracket index racing, and it is a book of shit. So that's what I was trying to convey to some people today is like, look, you might even think know a lot and that you're good, and there's plenty of people out there and they win rounds and they win races, but Dustin and I don't know. I would say Dustin's got a little bit of something special, but I'm not special. I just know every way to turn a slim chance of winning into a decent chance of winning. Like, I just know how to take every situation and have a better chance at winning. And that's what we're trying to teach. But anyways, I'll get off on a tangent.
That's awesome. That's good because, that is the truth. I mean, knowledge is power.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the way it goes. I mean, when I took my little sabbatical, I read 2,500 books. You know what I mean? So I had all the time in the world to read. So might as well go some vacations through books.
And I'll tell you something. You can watch some car bracket racing, and you can watch some motorcycle bracket racing. Totally different. The car guys are doing everything possible to win. The bike guys are just cut a light, run your dial in. That's all they care about. And I'm like, if you guys just knew what you could learn and what you could possibly do different to just throw your dude off beside you. You ain't got to race disrespectful, but you can do things going down the racetrack that just throw them a curveball and it's lights out. You know what I mean? And even the 460 guys, there's some stuff that they could do that would just blow their competitor's mind if they practice it, but they're going to have to go practice it and find out how to, play it out to make it work. That's what we're here for. Let us teach you. Let us help you figure out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Hey, we're not making it easier on ourselves. That's why we genuinely get joy out of seeing people do well. But we're actually making people better, which doesn't help us win. So
every year the competition gets tougher. You know what I mean? Every year it's harder to win. And I was telling somebody a couple weeks ago that I feel like I raced 5 classes the last race, and after it all come down to it, I think Street ET was the hardest damn one for me to race good in. Like the rest of them was just cut and dry, cut off top bulb on Pro ET and then Pro Tree the rest. But I was like, man, I think Street ET might be the toughest class I race now because I would do good and they would just mop me up. And the bad thing is everyone that beat me, I'm like, well, I tuned their clutch, or I did this. And I'm just making them wear me out, which is a win-win for me because I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, I kind of, when my daughter really wants a trophy, I got to do better, So I just go out there and stare at my box. Like, what can I do to these damn things,
And then the bottom line still is that, we race in thousands, and sometimes thousands. So, when you put that into real perspective, when we talk about the stuff that we're talking about so deep into 1 second, it's crazy. A 60, well, he just won a 60 with 8, and you call a guy and say, well, you left a lot of room on the table. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm going to squeeze in that 8.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
Damn sure going to try, too, whatever.
And even with all the mathematics and all the lessons, what people understand, we still have to ride the machine. The machine is still the variable. And one of the things that we learned, that Harry and I used to talk about a lot, was that the rider makes up 90% of the equation. The machine's a 10%er. It's going to do pretty much the same deal over and over and over, unless some.
The human factor really throws a curveball in there. You know what I mean? Like, we're all human.
90%. Yeah, we're 90% part of that equation. So, when you have that much responsibility of the situation, then, like you said, that's what makes it good. That's what makes it competitive. But at the same time, the motorcycles now, man, are just so much more reliable. They're so much more consistent. And like you said, Dustin, my son actually he's a 16-year-old. He races a Gen 2 clutch on his bike, and I'm sitting there like, damn, how did you fly that clutch like that? Like, I remember when I was doing that, I might have been up to 12 o'clock. So
yeah. Technology is a great thing. You know what I mean? Like, really, the Gen 2 clutch actually made street ET safer. Like, you don't ever see people about flip or nothing. I mean, you can still do it if you make a mistake, but it's way more constructive. Like, the class is clean versus you see a bunch of hucklebucking and bogging and wheeling and spinning it. That stuff's gone now because the products that we can all buy is making the bikes just streamline, It's almost a cookie cutter thing now. Like, back in the day when you were first racing, air shifters, that was a big thing you bought. Well, now the clutch is a big thing you buy. It's just it's a tool. Everybody uses a Shinko hookup tire because, a Michelin Pilot Power ain't going to cut it. It's just, you got to find the product that fits your program. Now, can you do it the stock clutch? For sure. There's some gangsters out there that can still ride and be consistent all day long. But there are some people that can't even race without that clutch because they don't know how to modulate one. Yeah. Ben's brother, Steven, he just now kind of started playing with it a little bit. He's a phenomenal bracket racer, but you'll never see him really on a true hand clutch because he don't need to. He don't have to.
Well, he didn't learn to ride, and I think that's one thing that these clutches, and like I said, that's a subject that obviously
I know,
we could all, but Dustin and I feel like our thing on the whole clutch thing is like, we don't care. Like, whatever the rules is, we set our stuff up and we'll go race if we want to race in that class, whatever. Now, that being said, I think that is a good point that, the Gen 2 clutch, as Dustin has mentioned, like my brother, he had ridden a couple motorcycles, right? But he'd never raced one. We just put him on a bike with a Gen 2 and it was all set up and safe. It's like, dude, you ain't got to worry about nothing. We've already tested.
Perfect.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, and that speeds up the process. And it goes back to what you were saying, Hollywood. Like, do we want more people in here? Now, if somebody is like dead set on learning to ride and modulate that clutch, I'm all for that. Like, knowing how to ride and being a better rider will make you a better racer, 100%. But if you don't have the time and you're not enjoying, like Dustin was saying, some hucklebucking or wheelies or
something, the struggles,
we can avoid all that right now. And it's funny too. Actually, last week, a buddy of mine, local guy I've known him my whole life, he only has one leg, right? He lost a leg when he was younger due to an illness and whatnot. Well, he came over and I had him come over to my garage. I keep tilting my head. Sorry, I got all my motorcycles behind me, but it's like, I told him, I was like, Kenny, come over here. And because he's like, man, I want to get into it, and he's raced cars and stuff, right? He's like, I want to get into it. I was like, well, first you need to come sit on these bikes. Cause that was his concern. Like, how comfortable am I going to be with his prosthetic and so on and so forth. So I had him come over and sit on every one of my bikes, cause they're all a little different. And once he'd done that, he's like, man, you're right. He's like, I can definitely ride like the Hayabusa. It just felt better to him. And where he was only looking at one thing, but I told him, I explained the whole clutch deal. I'm like, look, Kenny, like, this stuff's butter. Like, when I can set the bike up and everything, and you don't have to worry about it. Like, it's just going to go. And like, that's great. Like I said, it's
another racer, man, that's having a good time. Just a snap of your finger, you know?
And like, if that's how the person wants to approach it, that's fine. Now, like I said, the people that want to learn to ride, I'm all for that. Learning to ride is a skill that you cannot replace.
I mean, I still love and enjoy riding a true hand clutch bike, but I also don't get up and change a channel on my TV without a remote control. If I got a remote, I won't use it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, you wear stuff out more with the hand clutch, with stock stuff. So then in the evening, I can be hanging out with my boys instead of putting a clutch in my bike.
And like you said, the entry is important, man. I mean, we got to keep people coming to the sport in order for the sport to be sustainable. Like you said, it's just not enough people that really, you can get those guys that are going to come on, they're going to, finesse the clutch and roll it out, load it, or whatever they need to do to get it going. But you don't want to beat them down to the point where, they don't enjoy it. you want to give them that fair shake at it. And like you said, it's a great product. I mean, I heard, that people didn't allow places. I was like, well, I don't really see the advantage of it overall, because ultimately you still got to it goes back to the mathematics. You still got to cut the tree, and you still got to ride the motorcycle.
Facts. Period. Because we're bracket racing. We're not, it's not a rider's class. It's a bracket class. So if you called it, like if it was like real street class or super stock, then sure, you got to be a rider to do that. But we're not riding here. We're racing. That's what I always tell everybody. Like this ain't got nothing to do about being a good rider is great, but that's not the objective, And you can bracket race a moped, and I get some people that gets caught up in the electric bike thing. I think if it's bought off the showroom floor, put it in the class. I don't give a shit, Well, it's electric, the weather. I say, I don't care. Like, they still got to cut a lot, and they still got to predict or dial in. And at the end of the day, I'll sit beside them. I don't care. But that's just racing. Like, you can't be afraid of a new thing, because it's not going to stop. We're going to get new things for the rest of our life. It's never going to stop.
Like we just said, nothing's permanent except change.
That's right.
That's right, bro. It is,
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit more about some upcoming Man Cup stuff and what's going on. You said are they all 2-a-day events now, or what's?
Well, originally, basically to try to keep all the tracks on board, I left everything pretty much as they have been, and some of the weather has made us change the formats.
Right.
Which, I'm not saying, I really feel like those were blessings in disguise, to be quite honest with you. A lot of people wonder, man, I know he's losing his butt. No, they actually helped us save money.
Right. Because, you got to pay for the track a whole day. Yeah.
Every that track's open, that's anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000.
For sure.
So when you don't have that expense and you're still able to get the event off, and, I didn't have any events so far that we haven't been able to pay out. Like payouts are pretty substantial and good for what we have. Yeah. So, I really would like to, like I said earlier, I do a lot of researching about what we do. So I keep on my numbers guy. So I'm constantly looking at trending on the numbers. What makes sense? What makes sense to keep the series alive? What makes sense 5 years from now? What makes sense from the customer's, the client's perspective? And I've been a client. Would I much grind hard one whole day and have a free day to kind of just mosey my way back, or do I go to the end of that last day, which I need to be at work that next morning at 9 o'clock? Now I'm pushing myself in a hazard zone, trying to get back to to a place where I need to work. So all those things go in my thought process, and it's been like, it's easier to take a day off work on Friday than it is to take a day off work on Monday.
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Hey, Mondays are money Mondays. You got to get those in. You know what I mean? Friday's fun Friday.
Friday, if you kind of work a Friday off, a half a day Friday, and it makes sense for an owner, a business owner, to leave his employee to leave half a day on Friday. But Monday morning, man, you want all hands on deck.
That's right.
They're probably only doing a half-ass job on Friday anyway, so you might as well let them off.
That's right. Go home, drink some beer, be ready Monday. You know what I mean?
So I'm looking at that 2-day, those 2-day events, Friday, Saturday, and then like the event we got coming up now, the Summer Dash for Cash up in Ohio, Drag Race 42. Originally, I made it a non-points event simply because I just look at numbers, man. I mean, I've been at that race for the last several years myself as a competitor, and, a class like 460 that usually draws 20 plus bikes are getting 12 to 14 bikes. That's not a good number,
right.
And you get a $400 purse and stuff like that out there. Not just so much about the purse, but really, I think that it's just that, it's like that break part where they've done 3 or 4 hard hits, drives. It's July, the middle of the heat.
People go on vacations this time of year.
As a school just got out not long ago. This is like right in the holiday time. So it's like, okay, let's just not put racers under any pressure.
Right.
I can respect the shit out of that, man. I really can.
Yeah, let's just don't put them under no pressure for points. But listen, this is what we'll do. like a lady at the track, I told her I really thought that, I did not want to, I'll just be straight with you. I did not want to really have the race at first in Ohio. But I respect the matchup so much to the fact that I was like, look, let's just keep it on schedule and let's figure out what we can do to have a good event. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a beautiful facility. I've been there several times. I think that's one of the coolest racetracks. Hey, your family can go up, put an easy up 10 on the hill and watch you guys race. Like it's
beautiful.
It's phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's smooth. It's well prepped. It's got nice staging lanes and pits, and there's trees, and like it's a good race to have, in my opinion, especially for you, because the location, there's a lot of racers up north that's just chewing to go race, and you're going to get them. You're going to get a lot of Ohio and Indianapolis and stuff like that down that way. I think you'll have a good show. Especially the payouts even interest me, and I'm like, that's a long haul for me, but I'm still like, man, like that'd be a good time, but then I have other plans. So
and XDA was going on, which brought another situation. It was not an intentional situation to schedule. I think that when she called me, maybe I was out working or something. I don't recall how it went, but we had an original date different. And I think the original date, because we were supposed to go when the Blue Suede Shoes concert was going on in Norwalk, and not when the Norwalk Points race was going. You know what I'm saying? Because now that's hence why I converted it to 2 separate days of eliminations. That's kind of how that came about, because once again, I have to pivot, like, okay, if we stay the same way with our normal schedule, then we're dead. It's just not going to fly.
Well, I truly think you'll be okay, even though it's the same weekend as XDA, because it's a different whole region. You know what I mean? So I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. People that say like, oh well, they're drawing this and that. I mean, you're racing with delay boxes and stuff. It's a whole different
whole kind of racing.
I feel like now there's some classes like 460 and some other classes, but generally speaking, mainly your ET bracket classes, I don't personally feel like you're pulling a lot. Now, like me and Dustin, right? Like we're
one of the few that would do shit like that.
Yeah, we would definitely like open weekend. Oh hell yeah, we're going to Ohio. No big deal.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't feel like you're splitting the crowds per se there.
No.
The good thing too, like you said, is in that area, and I know because I lived in Ohio for a while. That's a hardcore delay box area.
I think you'll have a really good pro ET crowd for sure.
I'm actually really optimistic in that area, especially too because Brian and NHRO cut back quite a bit this year. He had 3 weekends lined up,
right.
So I feel like there's a need up there.
You'll get a lot of those races.
Area. Yeah. So I'm really excited.
I look forward to a lot of the racers coming from there. I even had some of the guys that were the points battles at Norwalk tell me that, and then, like I said, that's why I went to the 2-day eliminations. I figured that if we did not get a lot of them Saturday, we'll at least give them an opportunity to come Sunday. Yeah. So that's why I left it, put the bigger amount of money, the larger amount of money to Sunday, so that
they can come on down, have a good time. Yeah,
come on down here. We're gonna put it on. The money's still on the wood.
You want to gamble? Come on down and gamble, baby. Let's go.
Look, that's all it is, man. I'm a casino. I'm a rolling casino.
That's what we're doing, though. I mean, like, really, we're gambling, but we got control. You know what I mean? We're not just taking the hand we get dealt. We're out. We can actually seal our fate. So that's why it's a little bit. It's not as much gambling, but we're gambling.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely would rather do this than buy a lottery ticket. I promise you that.
The points people up there are wild, though. I will say that. Knowing that, like living in that area, like it is something vicious up there when they race their weekend points. So
they take local track shit serious.
Yeah. That was a smart move for sure.
Yeah, we're not trying to step on any of those point situations.
Oh no, yeah.
I think that one of the things that I really wish that like I mentioned earlier, is just that I think that racing as a whole needs to do a hard reset on the economy. Like, just really realize what's out there in terms of when the track's trying to have a large scale motorcycle series come to their town, whatever. Then I think that all of them collectively should be working together to try to give their racers an opportunity to compete against the people that are willing to come from all these other places to somewhat level up. See where you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Your racers are against.
They should be proud if their local racer goes to a series and wins. Like, our home track racer just now went to such and such and won. That's kind of like it's part of their family going over here and, winning. That's, I look at it like the old bracket racing days when you go to the bracket finals, your track was a team. And everybody from your team, you was up in the stands cheering for them, no matter if it was a car, a junior dragster, whatever. You're like, come on, get us another point, so we could get points and be the grand champion of the team deal. And like that's the way I look at it all together. Like it's just the way it should be. But right now, everybody kindly worries about their own pockets more than they do like the group of a whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And now you have, like you said, less and less attendance from the fan. The fan who does not race is a very important aspect of what we need to have to make this work. Mm-hmm. But if you, like you said earlier, you have to take in consideration that if you having 5 events a month at one facility, there's only so many people that really like drag racing. You know what I mean? Right. So, we got to be careful with that economy because people aren't traveling. These days, you don't really see people. You got die-hard enthusiasts that'll make a 3-hour drive. Mm-hmm. But people really aren't driving like that, like they used to go see these things, these products, because now we have so much opportunity to see any of this stuff and so much of this stuff right online.
The biggest thing right now, I think, in drag racing, and I think eventually your end goal, your big picture can kind of maybe achieve some of this spectator stuff, is, the street outlaws. Like they pack racetracks. But the reason they do is because people see them on TV and they feel like they know them. You know what I mean? And if you ever got like some of the behind the scenes stuff of us on like almost like, I don't want to say reality, but you know what I'm saying? Like people could get to know all the racers. If they ever did and they realized who we are and then they noticed some of the classes were sketchy, because that's what people want to watch, right? People that's on the edge, out of control and, possibly crash or whatever. That's what they want to see. And if you could get that out there and people could see it and then, become familiar with each of us and like, they have their favorite person. And then before you know it, the stands are packed because them guys, they go anywhere all over the country and it's packed. Like the stands are just bulging, and that's because people can relate, they relate to them. They see them all the time on their TV.
And I feel like that's what Hollywood was saying earlier too, trying to create that character, or not create, but try to bring out the character and like.
Yes, everybody's personality, you know what I mean? Like, Ben's the subtle guy that's all proper and I'm a loose cannon. Like I just say what I think.
Until Darnell comes out. Like, I don't know if you ever heard, but like I'm literally Darnell.
We call him Darnell after hours.
That's quite a few cold beverages in, but
and people would love Darnell. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they ever got to see Darnell on TV, they would love him.
Hey,
we love him.
We would be rich, but I don't know. I don't know the repercussions that would also come with that. So
yeah. There's a lot of funny faces you could share, though. Man, he's got them.
Oh man,
that's the part that we're doing now. Like the podcast, the Man Come Live, all of those things about building characterization, building characters, putting a name to a face to a name. I'm a Southern guy, everybody knows they talk to me. I'll talk like from the hills or whatever.
That's all right.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
That's who I am. But, but at the same time, the thing that we're really, like you all said, like I told you earlier, my whole goal is to bring an identity to the racers.
For sure.
Period. Point blank period. Because just like you just said, Dustin, it's like Ben said, just like everyone else in the world understands, until you can put the name to the face and so forth, and bring those characters to the media, that's what draw people. People draw people.
Yeah. You got to get the personalities out there. When people go, oh, I love that guy. Before you know it, that guy's coming to a race that's close to his house or something just because he wants to see that guy in person, and then it just spreads and they see new people and different personalities. And before you know it, they might hate me and love such and such. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what gets the people there. And I'm all right. People hate me, but come watch me lose. Awesome. Come on down. Bring your whole family. buy a gate fee. Come on in. I don't care. As long as it helps our sport as a whole, I can be the villain. I don't care.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Finish what you were saying. I was going to go down the schedule, so you go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Well, I was just, going with Dustin, say, sometimes, that's like the WWE, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a lot of people think that you need 500, 600 racers to have a good show. It's not always quantity over quality. You have a lot of quantity, then you can't dig into the driver aspect of who you're dealing with and make an identity of those people. Like you said, street outlaws, everybody like, why don't they just film on regular tracks? Because they don't want their business out before they get to put their business out.
Right. Yeah.
In the desert somewhere in the middle of nowhere, so no one has a cell phone.
Yeah.
But they crack the code, man. And it's not that difficult, and it's one of the things that I've been trying to do for the last few years. But I keep saying this to racers over and over and over. It's just no one wants to. I ain't gonna say no one. Let's just say that the majority of people don't understand what it means to rally behind the people who are willing to do those things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody's going to have to tie up their money to make it work. But then once it gets going, then everybody's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like you got to work together.
Or understand how to when I very first came on social media, one of the things I said, and I recognize this over and over, is that no one recognized a whole bunch of little bitty mounds. No one recognized a whole bunch of mounds. You can walk out in your yard now, you probably got 7, 8, 9 ant mounds. They're little.
Yeah.
It's just part of the deal. So when even at our best, if no one, like when we first came out and we were talking about Ultra 460, I was like, make sure you say Pro Ultra 460. We're gonna ban this tag. We're gonna make the algorithm understands Pro Ultra 460. And everybody's like, well, I don't want to say it. Well, I'm like, well, you're missing the picture. The picture is that you have to create a mountain. So if not only I'm saying it, because if I just say it, I'm just another mound. So if
together we make a mountain.
But people are scared to, and this goes back to this lightness, like, because I didn't really understand the light life. Like people are really scared or really, I don't want to say selfish because that might not be the proper word, but in order to really make this work, we have to band behind the strength of the thought.
Yeah.
Process. There's no way around that. I mean, no business, no successful, nothing is not built like a pyramid. Everything has to push something up to the top in order for it to get the attention that you wanted to get, so that when Big Chief had the camera and everybody rolled with Big Chief or whoever it was with Street Outlaws, they stayed down with him. To the point where it became, well, shit, ain't no Super Days posting, Docs posting, this person over here posting, and they got all these little channels going on. All of them promoted that one thing.
They still all push it. If you see a poster,
because they understand what someone's made them really understand, that you cannot have a million little mounds and be recognized.
Nope.
You can't have content flying all over the place and we're giving it up for free and it does not collectively say a message at all. It doesn't say nothing. It just says, hey, look at me. I got 50,000 likes. Okay, cool. My kid is watching somebody blow bubbles over here. And dang, is that 10 billion?
Yeah, exactly. My daughter watches some kids open toys up, and I'm like, how does this kid, like, he's making a full living off of opening toys on YouTube
I'm just starting and playing with them.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go buy you some damn toys and get a camera in here, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But that's how society, man, because ultimately, it's like, and part of it is because who we are, personality-wise. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We're atypical people. We have strong personalities. Most racers are real, like, they're like really pointed to
passionate. Yeah.
Right. So, and we're winners. Like, we all winners in our hearts, so we're competitive in nature. So if he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it even better. But the reality of it is that I think that we water down the message. So we water down the sport. We water down the opportunities at larger situations because, I mean, who do you go to who is the go-to? If I'm the outside looking in and I'm trying to figure out, like, like, where do I want to spend my corporate dollars? Like legitimately, you have, so many people that is coming at you for money, but what situation is going to really give me a return on investment? Now we're talking about our business now, right? But the reality of it is that if we put more of our attention towards building unity around motorcycle drag racing, because it really is a small niche business, a real niche market. When you put it up against the world, it's not really a lot of us in the world. So we're really superstars, but we're just not able to promote it properly because we got too many mounds. We need a mountain. We need mountains.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we need to build mountains where people are like, dang, look at that over there. Yeah. Motorcycle drag racing, when you put it in, it's like 5 million or 50 million people are saying this stuff now. They're saying the exact same keyword, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But you just can't get people. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't get people. I just think that a part of us have to realize that, you can bite off your nose and spite your face, right? And it's not about who's at the helm of the ship more so than that you have a ship.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and that's like we were talking beforehand, like Dustin and I, we had some reasons and goals with starting a podcast, in a school and all, but now it's like, we're so one of the things that we had to talk about beforehand is like, look, man, he knows me, I know him, and like I curse like a sailor. I wish I didn't, but that's just how I am, and like I hate it, but it's just who I am, and that's how I express myself. So like, well, first thing, it's like, are we going to try and censor this? I'm like, dude, I'd spend 2 hours editing every podcast if I was freaking trying not to curse, So like, we're like, let's be ourselves. So that was cool. And I think that's why we were getting such a good response. But now, like what you're saying too, is like, we want to make sure that we're also creating what you're saying, some unity. So, having anybody and everybody that's having, a series or race on so that we can create unity. And like I said, I'm trying to make a habit. Like I've got a master spreadsheet. Dustin will laugh and he'll tell you it's true. But like I sat down one day and like tried to add every series and every race I could. And I tell people, email me, message me even if you got a standalone bike event, because if we don't support the series and the local tracks and get out there and race, like you said, then it's just all these mounds. But if you create one big one with everybody with a single goal, and that's to promote this sport and grow it. So, we're trying to do at least, I feel like a decent job of trying to, bring some unity together as well through this. And we know that we have, people from all over in different series and a lot from, whatever one series. But the main thing is to just try and make sure everybody's, checking their schedules and going to these events. So, that's important.
Yeah, that's true. we all got to do our part.
Yeah, we all really do have to do our part, because ultimately I have a son that loves it. I have a 9-year-old son. I have a little girl that loves it. And the bottom line is, like you said, is that, I'm only going to do this for so long. I mean, I'm 53 years old, right? I mean, I've been at it for a long time. I love it, but my ultimate goal was just to, when the Man Cup came to my, in my possession, it was not about, oh, I'm about to get rich doing this, whatever. Like, I really just wanted to make sure that it was sustainable,
right?
That it could last until maybe the next future racer comes up and like, hey, Hollywood, you ready to retire? And I'm like, look, just give me what I had in here, and I'm out. So I'm about the sport, and I love it. It's taking real money for me to really do this. I mean, it's not like Jay came up and said, hey, here you go. Here's the keys to the car, enjoy it. He had a price tag for it. So, a house worth of a price tag, a small house. So, but, I believe in the racers enough to say that, I knew I would probably need to recoup my investment at some point. But, more importantly, I really would like the media part to advance our sport, man. I mean, it's so important, going up and down the racetrack. It does not attract the person who really does not know. Seeing 2 bikes go down is just like seeing 2 other bikes go down and seeing 2 other bikes go down. I mean, it's nothing for that fan to really gravitate to, but he might gravitate to Ben. He might like us. He likes.
We got to get him to like the person, not the bike.
We got to get them on the people, man. And once we can get that going right there, and we can get our photographers, our videographers to really understand that, and really, dig into, not trying to, we can't work against each other, like, period. Right. I mean, I don't give how big you want your social media site to be, and I don't want to do this and that and the third. But I tell people all the time, like, I don't want you to come to the Man Cove just to rape us for content, period. Those days are over. I need you to come here with a collective idea to promote the sport, not only just for yourself, but for the series within itself as well. Because I don't find the need to have to pay you to come and do something that you're charging someone else to
and double dipping, right? They need to get there and do their part and help it grow, and then they can make money off their stuff by doing their part.
Exactly. You do your part. I have no problem with that. But why am I paying you if you're going to go over there and get marketing dollars to sit next to the stuff that belongs to the series, which is that content?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with you being here, but I don't see the need to have to pay you to be here.
Exactly.
But then it leads to having to pay videographers that work for the series. Like me, I actually pay for the photographer, and every picture that he takes is available for the racer to download for free. Period. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I want the characters of our sport to become the focus.
Yeah.
Period. He asked me what kind of pictures you want. I said, I'm tired of seeing bikes pop bullies.
Yeah. right.
Need to buy a Gen 2 and they won't do that.
they're cool, photos, but I really prefer you seeing that guy over there sweating his pits. Knuckles bloody a little bit. His wife trying to give him a cold drink or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Catch that shot for me, and then it brings a character to the platform for us. But man, like I said, man, you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep up the good work, man. It's all part of what we're doing collectively to, bring people to the sport, and there's nothing wrong with nothing about what any of us are doing as long as we're trying to help it,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I was texting you. I was like, man, I know you guys got to do your thing on Tuesday night, but of course I wasn't even thinking about tomorrow being the 4th. And you're like, we're not doing tomorrow, but we'll jump on tonight anyways. And I was like, man, that's perfect. Cause like I said, I know you record on Tuesdays live usually, and Dustin.
Yeah, we go live every time. Yeah. Man. We don't go pre-recordings. I mean, I think it's just something that's risky.
Yeah.
Wait, trust me. I've only edited out like 2 things, and this will probably be like episode like 28 or something. I've only edited out like 2 times, but most of the time it's like I don't have.
Yeah, like one time Ben was like, "Do you want me to cut that out?" I'm like, "Nah, it'd be all right. Leave it in there."
Yeah.
They don't like me. They don't like me. It's all good.
Well,
I am who I am.
Let's run down this schedule real quick because I know we've had you taking a lot of your time. So I got it pulled up, or if you want to go, if you know it by heart, but I pulled it up too. If you want me to run down through it.
Yeah, run down because I don't have it in front of me. The next one is July the 14th through the 16th at Dragway 42, and I think the next one is in August. Yep. That's going to be at Carolina. I think it's like the 18th through the 20th or something like that.
Yeah, we got the Hooked on Speed August 18th through the 20th, which is now at Carolina Dragway, correct?
Yeah, we had to make that was another man.
Audible.
That's a good track though, man. I've been there. Like the 8th mile was good last time I was there. It's been a few years, but
Carolina Dragway has always been the house of Hook. Man.
That's right. Used to go there to bracket finals with my dad as a kid. I know all about it.
It was just one of those deals, man, where, we were all elated and excited to go to Rockingham, obviously, because it's a new surface. But the reality of it is just that when you leave the track and half of your competitors are saying that they're not coming back until they get it right.
You got to do what's best for your mound. You got to make a mountain, not a mound. You know what I mean? Just like you said.
You got to call an audible, man.
That's it.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we know that
we didn't know. I mean, me and Ben was like fired up, like this is going to be great.
Oh well, yeah, we were.
They just run out of time
to Rocky.
Yeah, they just run out of time.
They're working. They're doing a really good job of like posting their weekly updates and all. So we know they'll get it right. But hey, look, you're going down to see my buddy Jimmy at Carolina Dragway, and that's going to be a great event that I'm going to try my best to be there. So I'm not going to promise, but it's on my calendar.
That's all good. I know how it goes, man. lot of stuff going on. Man.
Yeah, but that's the one I'm going to try and make. And then following that up, it looks like you're at St. Louis at Worldwide Technology, October 20th through the 22nd. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
that's another great racetrack. I mean, it's a great. Me and Ben's been there several times. It's a great racetrack. I about died there once. Ben almost died there once.
I threw my bike at Jeremy Teasley there at the finish line, so we had that. And
yeah, I hope that we didn't get the date there too late, because that's a hit or miss. That's late in the season.
Well, the perk of that is it ain't going to be hot, because it is hot there in the summer. Like, I've been there, and it's, I mean, that's why I almost died. Ben had to have Brian stop the race once. Like, Dustin's about to go out. Like,
that is a true story. Like, I was went
struggling.
Up and told Brian, I was like, look, you need to stop this mofo right now. And he's like, why? What's wrong? I was like, Dustin's going to die. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm not shitting you. I think he's going to pass out. Cause of course, part of it was our fault. We were in like 18 classes each. So like we were running ourselves, but like, I thought I did stop him, and he's like, all right, we'll take a 10-minute break. Like,
they put a wet towel over my head and put me in front of a fan to cool me off. But I would have went. If they called my class, I'd have been up there for sure. Look, but it'd been bad.
Here's the thing that I want to point out: you're going to some top-notch facilities, and I feel like that October 20th. Yeah, it's a little later on, but XDA's wrapped up by then. I think, as far as I know, NHTRO is wrapped up because Brian only had 2 weekends. So I feel like that's a good weekend, and that's up there in delay box country. So make sure everybody marks their calendar for that one. And we certainly can't forget. We know it's going to be a big one. The World Finals, November 17th through the 19th at SGM.
That's right. That's right, man. And people have been asking me about going to Florida now with the World Finals. They want to go to Gainesville again.
Hey, I'm a big Gainesville fan. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I like that place. And back in the day, that's where the World Finals was at. You know what I mean? Like, Gainesville. Man. I went there with my dad many times, like in Pro Star and stuff. Yeah, and it's a nice track. I mean, I went there. Brian went there once, and Brian's normal racers didn't come down, but we got a bunch of Florida, Georgia racers, and I mean, I had a great time. It's just, for us, people that's up this way, kind of a drive, but I'm a fan of that place. Like, it's a cool track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Floridians kind of got upset with me about pulling the first Orlando, and I was like, man, I did not want to pull it, but then again, there you go. It's just early. It's early for people who live in the Midwest, North, and stuff like that, because a lot of these people in March aren't deep on the rise.
Yeah.
So they're not going to deep rise. So
don't even worry about them Florida people. And I love my Florida friends. I ain't talking too much shit, but they live in a different world, and they know it because they race year round, So like,
they don't have to deal with the climate
year round. So they ain't, get a little leeway there. But
now the early racers, you could also get a guy that's like in Ohio. It's like, I'm over this shit. I'm ready to go where it's warm. When they come down at a race just to get away from the snow, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then it leads to the rigs being ready and motorhomes still winterized. And, there's a bunch of factors. I get it. But, I mean, if it was me and it was cold as crap where I lived at and y'all were having a race in sunny Florida and I wanted to go, I'm in. I'd be going.
Yeah. That's true, man. But, it's like you said earlier, Ben, it's like, you really, that's one of the things that I've never really concerned myself. I can't be too concerned every time I make a decision whether or not it's going to please everyone. You know what I mean?
It's not. I don't know.
You're never gonna, man.
I don't know if Hollywood.
But it doesn't just to think that you can do that in any aspect of your life, really.
100%. I don't know if you know, but back in the day, I worked at Bristol Dragway, so I've also been a little bit on your end, and it's not an envious position. I'll say that because, like I said, all you get is the complaints and everything. Very rarely, when I was working at the drag strip, did we have people come up and just say, thank y'all for a great event. Like that was
usually the people that wins will tell you that, and then that's all you hear. You know what I mean?
You had about like 5 or 6 happy mofos come in to get that check at the end of the night, and everybody else was pissed. And then you hear then the next week. I mean, you've seen it, it, and I hate to see some of the stuff you went through. So here's my word of advice to everybody. I love that not only are you running Man Cup now, but the changes, like we said, I love seeing the changes. And, that's something where, it's on my calendar to try and make that August race. Whereas, last year I wouldn't have had anything on the calendar, but the changes, they're not always going to be perfect, but they're going to work out for the best. And you're going to find out what works well. And like I said, if anybody's looking for info, it's racemancup.com. Go check it out. Hollywood has a schedule there, the classes and rules, the entry and purses. I've seen people, like, well, what's the payout? There's a full spreadsheet with the payouts.
It's right there.
There's nothing hidden. And that's what, I don't like people saying that too. And I've checked it out thoroughly, Hollywood. Trust me, I know exactly what the payouts are. So
I need it.
Thanks, man.
Hey, listen, one of the things that I did when I first got a hold of the series was I called all the guys that are in these classes. Yeah. And I straight up said, listen, man, I don't have a clue what makes you happy. Please help me with these classes.
And you was trying to make them really happy. I'll tell you right now on air, Hollywood had the purses. I'm like, bro, we can't do this too much. Like, we got to chill this out.
Me a little bit. And I was like, is Hollywood trying to like run it downhill right away? And I didn't mean that bad. I was just like, man, I don't know you need to be like that.
He just didn't know. He wanted to have good money out there to draw people. But I was looking at it as a business, like, let's have them good, but they ain't got to be that good, and we just toned it down where it was realistic, that way.
Here's the thing too. We all got to think like, Dustin is kind of, I would say, a little bit of an outlier, but 98% of the people that are coming to, whether it's your race or Jason's or Brian, it doesn't matter. They're going there to go race and have fun. Like the purse is irrelevant because one, you can't count on winning. Like that's not guaranteed. It doesn't even matter if you're Dustin. And I mean, like, that's one of the few people I know that's actually made some money bracket racing, which, that's a hard thing to do, but you can't count on winning a race. Now, years ago, Dustin and I would like go to a race and then have to put it on the credit card if we didn't win. But the point of the matter is purses are important and, to at least have that dream. I call it the dream. Like you don't buy a lottery ticket because you think you're going to win. You buy it because you want to dream about what that $10 million is going to be like. So like, the purses are important, but like I remember when Dustin sent me some of the first ones, he's like, "What do you think?" I was like, "Hollywood needs to turn that down a little bit."
See, I talked to everybody. I aired it out. Like, what do we need to do here? Yeah. I don't want Hollywood to suffer. I want the racers to be happy. Exactly. And I think we come to a really good median. And everything is great on that. We just got to get the people there to chase the dream. Like, winning a motorcycle drag race, like we said earlier, isn't easy. Like going to the finals isn't easy. So if you get there, it's going to be nice to get that little cherry on top. And also the cool trophy to come home with you.
Damn,
your trophies are fire, bro.
Yes,
like they're fire.
Exactly what I was going to say.
I'm thoroughly, I got to get one of those,
The most important part is those trophies, Hollywood. I cannot wait. That's going to be the deciding factor of me coming in August for sure. But like, I want one of those trophies on my wall, like, cause I don't have one, so
they're cool, man.
Like the money comes and goes, right? Like we all know that. Money comes and goes and we're throwing it away. We're gambling every time we go racing, but those trophies and those videos and the live feed, the photos, like that's all stuff we have as a memory. So like, appreciate everything.
I got a wall of fame in my garage and nobody can ever take it away from me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, sometimes I'll just stare at it and go, man, I've done some cool shit. And all that money on them checks is gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But the memories are still there. So I do. I need me one of them Man Cup trophies.
We have to give credit to Chris over there, my man. Chris, his trophy people over at Race Awards. We got to tell them thank you for that. They did a good job of that.
Very classy.
Yeah, and then the logo change was, we got to give them credit there because, like we wanted to give it a facelift. I knew that, it was risky. A lot of people wanted to do the Hollywood Drag Racing Series. And I was like, man, they're already tripping because we had a trophy in my likeness. But that was really kind of a, I don't know where that came from. I mean, it was a photo that someone someone took a photo of me at XDA. And the guy said, that's what we should make a trophy of.
Kind of like an Iron Man, wasn't it? I think I seen that.
Yeah, I never even seen this.
I would like to have one of those too. I'm just saying. So
that was a $600 per trophy.
Ooh, never mind. Yeah, we can't be handling that. We got enough to worry about.
So what it was, which we're still going to use it. We have the mold. It was me videoing
with the gimbal thing.
I was holding the gimbal with the eyes. So the trophy was made in that image. So now we're going to use it for like an image award for like a season ending award.
Yeah.
But I actually issued that trophy to, because I was a class sponsor of 460. So every 460 winner actually won a Hollywood. So that was like equivalent
That's
of
dope, man. That's dope. Yeah.
But it was just, like same thing what we were talking about, man. This is an entertainment business.
Yeah.
Period. So it's more to entertaining than just going up and down.
Yeah.
Bring something to make. Man, Dustin said, I gotta get me one of them Hollywoods, boy.
Yeah, I want me a Hollywood, bro. I want a Hollywood and a Man Cup trophy. Actually, it's the cup.
Saying.
We call it the cup now.
We laughed so hard about it, man. People like, his conceited ass, he done made a trophy of himself. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't sign off on that.
Yeah. It's fire, though. I mean, I wouldn't care to have a hillbilly trophy. Shit. I'd buy one, put it out there. Shoot.
I kind of did not want that initially because, it's like you say, man, success don't bring friends necessarily, So it's just another way that people can feel like you're trying to smack them around or whatever. But it's not that about me, man. I was homeless when I was 15. I grinded the whole way up. I was dirtball poor at times. You know what I mean? I remember times not having nothing. And, even when I came home from my little vacation, it was zero shit, just a whole bunch of hustle and determination and not to go back there, but, to figure something out. Matter of fact, I mean, I probably made a post once before showing, this a guy changed my life. Alan Talley, he was a plumber. He was going out this plumbing license. He told me how to get mine. And I learned that while I was gone.
Right.
Home, and I just applied those tools and did what we have to do. But now it's about, now right, you do right. Now some of the things that you have done wrong. You try to educate people that you see and maybe not following the correct path and try to give them some game and, enlighten them that you don't have to do that. So I live as a living testament or model for someone who might want to make a bad decision or someone who wants to see.
You're just showing people that you can take lemons and make lemonade.
You got to be able to do that, man, because it's you can get beat up so many ways out here, psychologically, financially, whatever, but life is all about perspective, man. You can look at the cup half empty or half full. I just tend to continue to look at it half full because, I've had enough things that were bad that nothing out here that can compare to my bad days before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what bad's like. This ain't shit.
Sure.
I've been there, bro. I know. Shoot.
Ain't nothing wrong with this right here, baby.
No. Yeah. No. I'd sit in this recliner all day and be happy. This baby's half full.
all day, baby. So I think people need that. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get put in these precarious situations to be able to promote that message. And we as people who have influence have to know how to use it properly.
Yep.
You can use it as a self-serving tool, or you can use it as a tool to promote people around you. And for me, I prefer to promote people around me.
Yep.
And with promoting people around me, it brings more wealth, because wealth in my eyes is not my bank account. Wealth in my eyes is how I feel when I get up in the morning, knowing that I did not do anything to hurt anyone.
That's right.
I brought value to people. So
taking care of people, doing them right. That's why I live by. I don't have nothing on my conscience because I take care of everybody. Like I never would treat anybody wrong. So at the end of the day, it makes me sleep a little better when I do sleep.
Well, look, I know Dustin. I've known him for a long time, and we've even went through our rough patches when we were racing too heavy and let that get in between us a little bit. But even in like our toughest times when we just wanted to throw a little fist fight at each other.
No, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to kick your ass on the racetrack.
But even in the toughest time, Dustin would still do anything he could to help me. And I will say this too, Hollywood, I don't know you super well, but I've never seen you without you smiling. So
that's right.
I know that you wake up every day and try and spread, happiness and just getting the right side. And so I've never seen you where you're not looking like you're enjoying life. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, man. Sometimes, you gotta smile when you don't feel like it.
That's right. 100% on them Monday mornings sometimes.
Because it's we have a responsibility, period. I have days that are just pieces of crap, you know what I mean? And, and I just gotta deal with it, man. But it's not for me to make your day feel like that. You know what I mean?
Man, you just now preached my whole life for the past 2 weeks. Like I'm trying to be me and be chipper, but my mind's just full of all the hell stuff.
Yeah.
Like you literally just now preach my whole life, right? The past 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, what that is, man, we just got to keep promoting positivity, man. It's nothing better than promoting positivity and growth.
Yep.
That's the only way we can continue to get those blessings, because you got to think about it. I mean, some people don't even have one motorcycle. Some people don't even have a piece of transportation.
That's right.
So for us to have the things that we've been having and the blessings that we've gotten, no matter what you believe in or how you get there, whatever, but there comes a responsibility. And I think that people who get, are because they know how to give.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. So yeah.
Hey, this
those races, man. They need to get these races, man. We need to get them at.
Gotta get them trophies, man. Like I want one. I'll definitely be trying to get one of those before the year's out for sure. If I ain't with being at Carolina, I will be at the finals for sure.
I'm double checking right now while you can actually witness it. Let's see here. I'm gonna make that happen, Hollywood. I'm not even gonna give you no excuses or nothing. It's already on my calendar. It's the weekend before XDA, which to me that's just proximity. I go to both XDAs, they're 2.5 hours, so to me it's proximity. But man, I love me some Carolina racing, whether it's in South Carolina, North Carolina. So I'm gonna be there. So that's my word to you. I'm gonna be there, because here's the thing too. Like, we're out here talking about it. That's one reason we have you on here. We need you racers to go out and support these series. If you're up near Dragway 42, there ain't nothing you should be doing but going to Man Cup in 2 weeks, unless you were coming to XDA, but your ass probably wasn't coming to XDA. So go to Dragway 42. And then, I said, the next one where I'm going to go to Carolina Dragway. That's before XDA. You ain't got excuses. So racemancup.com.
Y'all ever thought y'all was good enough to beat Ben's butt? He gonna be in South Carolina.
yeah. Now we're gonna have a target on my back. So
good.
That's what I want. I had a target on my back for a whole 3-4 years. Boy,
you ain't telling me nothing. I literally had one on me, right?
Dustin lives that. Yeah, Dustin lives that.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for spending the time to come on with us. I think this was really informative and even
we got live talking this dude again, man. Like we preaching life up in here.
Well, that's what I think is important, Hollywood, is like more and more people are gonna know you and what you're about and what you're bringing to the series, which I think is important. Like, we all know it's a motorcycle drag racing series, right? We all can get online. Well, I will say this: some people don't know how to work the internet well, but the payouts, the schedule, it's all online. Right?
It's all there.
.com. But if people getting to know you, if nothing else, Dustin and I are hoping that this will push some more racers to some events, and that's our goal too with it. So we appreciate you taking, almost 2 hours of your busy schedule, and we know you got plenty of things going. So
he got pop to lay.
Oh man.
I'm listening to fireworks out here. I'm wondering if somebody's shooting a weapon. I
forgot. We better go check that.
I've been worried. I keep looking. I'm like, I can't believe my dogs aren't barking. So thank you again for taking so much time out. We're gonna get this up either tomorrow or Wednesday, and we'll definitely tag you and everybody in it. And we look forward to seeing you here down the road. I'm gonna be at Carolina Dragway.
Peace, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Awesome, man.
See you, man.
Thanks, Hollywood. You too, man. Appreciate it.